Welcome to The Topic, where we highlight Houston Community College, our students, our programs, and our reach into the community. I'm Todd Duplantis. According to the Greater Houston Partnership, the numbers are very disturbing. Since this whole COVID crisis started, more than 400,000 Houstonians filed for unemployment. Within Harris County, that's about 300,000. And to top it off, across the state of Texas, 1.5 million since the beginning of the COVID crisis. Well, HCC is here to help not only connect those looking for jobs, but also with the employers through a new initiative we have called JobsNowHouston.org. Joining me now is Dr. Michael Webster, Associate Vice Chancellor of Workforce Instruction, to tell us more. Thank you for joining me on the show.
All right. Thanks, Todd. I appreciate it.
Now, I know the website has just launched. Tell me a little bit about what people can expect when they go to this website and how it will help them.
Yeah. So our goal was, once we kind of saw what the numbers were doing in terms of unemployment, was to make sure that we were keeping track of the job postings that were happening, particularly in our region. And despite a lot of the lost jobs, there's still quite a bit of good jobs being posted in our region that folks can tap into. So what we wanted to do is to create a place where we can showcase the strong occupations in our region, and while at the same time show folks where they can go to get training at HCC.
I know HCC has a history, and you yourself, you work with advisory boards for many of our centers of excellence to bring in those from the industry to comment on or to give you advice on maybe our curriculum and the job for what's needed out there in the workforce. Those advisory boards, are they playing an active role in helping you determine what jobs are out there right now?
They sure are. Most of our advisory boards of various roles of HR and people from HR functions in supporting us as they're trying to fit their own training needs. So we're getting frontline information. At the same time, we've got several data sources that are telling us where the jobs are, and I think that's what we're trying to drive at through both our advisory boards, and they affirm the postings that we receive.
I guess what's kind of disheartening to a lot of folks who may be looking for a job, they're thinking, well, this thing all started, I was laid off, I lost my job, and now I can't go meet with people face to face, so no one's going to hire me. Is that the situation? Are companies hiring? Are they doing these hirings online? And can you officially get hired onto a job and get started without meeting that employer face to face during these troubling times?
Yeah, I mean, they definitely are hiring online right now in virtual settings. I actually sat in on a virtual job fair last week just to see what the pulse was. I know next week HISD is hosting for their seniors a job fair that's going to be online. They've given us a seat at the table to offer up training. So yeah, there's employers, they're needing the workers, and they're still trying to find ways to hire them up.
These jobs that are out there in the Houston area, your estimates, how many are there? And are these the essential jobs that people kept going to work during this whole shutdown?
So there's probably about 200 postings right now in the Houston market, 200,000 postings, excuse me, in the Houston market. And for the most part, we do have a lot of essential worker type positions. So you imagine retail, truck driving is very in demand right now. There's also other areas such as construction, petrochem, healthcare, any of these larger fields. The backbone of the Houston industries, they're still definitely in demand and in need of workers.
And are these jobs, are they high earning jobs? Can you earn a decent living at it? Because a lot of folks may have been laid off. For example, if you were laid off from the petrochemical field or from the oil industry, your job may not be coming back. Can I get a new job, and maybe not just this industry, but another that's going to help pick up the salary I was going to be making so I can support my family?
That's a great question. So, in Houston, our job market has been so strong for so many years, at least the last 10 years. The backbone of that has been those what are kind of dubbed the middle skills jobs, those that require more than a high school diploma, but less than a 4-year degree. Almost to the tune of 50% of our job market is made up of those. And then obviously that's our sweet spot at HCC. Those jobs typically pay well, and part of it is because they're highly technical, and in addition to that, they're such in demand. So you figure a pipe fitter, entry-level pipe fitter, is going to make probably around $65,000, and then plus overtime could get up to 85 or 90,000 a year. That job has continued to be in demand. It hadn't stopped just because of the pandemic, because there's just so much construction going on in our region right now.
Well, you hit the nail on the head right there with the construction I wanted to talk about. And during the shutdown, when you would drive around, everywhere you went, there seemed to be construction continuing on. So these projects continued on, even though times were uncertain.
Yeah, and in fact, a lot of, especially the infrastructure and civil construction, those were really booming during the pandemic because they had clear roads where they could access and do the projects without having to shut down any freeways, throwing up barriers, anything like that. So it's actually worked in favor of some of the construction projects that are ongoing in our area.
Let's talk about the website itself. What will people see when they visit the website, the 3 sections, and maybe you can talk about some of the fast-track jobs and rapid certification and training programs that are available.
Yeah, so there's 3 tabs once you get to the job site, or excuse me, the website. The first tab is specifically around workforce training, and it shows a list of the occupations in our area that are in high demand. We're updating these on a regular basis just to ensure that we have the most up-to-date job postings that are out there, as well as the salary information that goes with that, and then a link to the programs at HCC that train for that. The second tab that you're going to find is fast training, and this is really fast track. Get in, get some short-term training, and then get a job. Generally paying high wage. Truck driving, I mentioned that earlier. Some healthcare professions that are very strong. You take something like medical records and billing. It's a great job, and it pays well, and it's in demand. The third tab on our site is for businesses, and this is specifically for really small and mid-sized companies that might have had some turnover in their workforce during the pandemic. They're trying to bring back people to the jobs. This is a place where we can help out with that as well.
That's another thing too. I keep hearing a lot of retail and restaurants are having problems getting back to work because many people are earning money in unemployment, and they've been let go, and they're not wanting to go back to the same job. So these employers can actually come to this website as well and use this as a resource.
Absolutely. And we have a robust career services department, and this connects into that as well. So if you have an employer that needs some workers, we can tap into our system to get folks in our pipeline that have been trained right back out to the employers.
We're talking with Dr. Michael Webster, who is the Associate Vice Chancellor for Workforce Instruction here at Houston Community College. We're going to take a short break. When we come back, we'll be talking about the new normal we're in with after COVID. What are things going to look like? And if you are contemplating a career shift, and you want to invest some time into your education, we'll talk about some resources HCC has available to you. Stay tuned to the topic. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to the topic on HCC TV. I'm Todd Duplantis. If you're watching us on HCC TV, make sure to check us out on social media. We're on YouTube. We're also on Facebook, and really any social media means. And you can download all of our audio versions of our podcasts at hccs.edu/podcasts. We're talking about a new initiative HCC has to get Houstonians back to work. A lot of people, we're talking hundreds of thousands, lost their job over the COVID crisis. They were let go, or their jobs just went away. Maybe their employer closed down. needless to say, they're out of work, looking to get retrained and retooled. And that's what a new initiative at HCC is here all about. It's called jobsnowhouston.org. We've got Dr. Michael Webster joining us. He's the Associate Vice Chancellor of Workforce Instruction at HCC. Welcome again. We were talking earlier about this new normal that we're living in. What are things going to look like when we go back to work? A lot of people, as we mentioned, lost their jobs. They're looking to find some new employment. What type of resources does HCC have with this new job initiative? Will financial aid be available? Are there scholarships? Any type of means to help them pay for this?
Yeah, so my first advice for folks that have been displaced from their job is to definitely get on the website and go to the Workforce Solutions site. That's where they're going to be able to not only fill out their unemployment paperwork, but they'll also be able to connect up to a lot of the job resources. And one of those resources is scholarship dollars that they can bring back to HCC for training. In addition to that, HCC has a robust workforce scholarship that is through our foundation. We realize that there's a lot of students that need funding to get through school and training. And in order to do so, we've got a large pot of money that's set aside just for workforce development. So there's opportunity out there for students.
If someone has questions, I think I may want to go into, I was working in the oil field industry and I'm looking to get out of that, and I may want to go into this industry. Do you have advisors that can talk with them if you go to this website, if they have questions or if they need some career advice as they're moving into to studying back again at HCC?
Yeah, so for all of the positions that we've listed on the website, and really, frankly, for any position that somebody might be interested in, the program pages are linked to that, and they have the direct advisors or the dean of the program connected in. So somebody there can directly help them. In addition, my phone number is out front, and I'm willing to help them as best I can to get them into the program that they want.
We're all working remotely these days, at least for the time being, and trying to be efficient and serve our students and the community. Some of these jobs, if you do get hired remotely, or a lot of these jobs, are you able to work remotely, at least for the time being, if you do get out of the certification program and the company isn't letting people back in their buildings yet?
Yeah, and we have quite a few jobs that are listed on the site and programs to be trained in. So, you think of things like paralegal, legal assistant, medical billing, health IT. Any of those jobs typically can be ran out of a remote office, and employers obviously are feeling the need to do that right now. So yeah, we can train them for a lot of the jobs that they're going to need to be remote right now.
And a lot of the jobs, some of the jobs have a lab component. How will that be handled, being that right now, at least, we're instructing online? So
we're kind of shifted our curriculum so that we're front load the theory with the hands-on in the backside. We believe that that's going to make it easy for students to start their program, get their training they need, and then as soon as they need those skills, we'll be able to get them into those classrooms. We're slated over the summer for the most part to be online with our training. It's flexible. It allows students to pick up the basic learning objectives. And then in the latter part of the summer, we'll bring them in for the skills-based.
I know one of the things Workforce has is we have classes that feed into the petrochemical industry. And I know in the energy sector, a lot of jobs have been lost and they may not be coming back. But from what I'm hearing, jobs like in the petrochemical field, those are always going to be needed. Are those ones that fall in workforce instruction and also through this program?
Yeah, so the backbone of Houston are mainly our petrochemical industry, and then our healthcare industry. We got the largest medical center in the world, and we've got primarily the largest petrochemical sector in the world. So those two fields are always going to be huge for us. With regard to petrochem in particular, whether we're getting our oil and gas from West Texas or Saudi Arabia or even Mexico for that matter, all we need is the feedstock, the oil and gas. We're going to continue to produce outside of that. So the area continues to be robust, and there's a lot of jobs still available. Expansion projects have not been put off either. So many of the companies that were building out additional refining capacity, they're continuing to do that. So there's jobs in process technology, there's maintenance workers, millwrights, pipe fitters. I mean, you name it in the petrochemical sector, there's jobs out there for them.
If someone is watching right now and they've just lost their job and they're kind of thinking of what we're offering them through Jobs Now Houston, what would be the first steps and what advice would you give them to get things started?
Well, first I would go check out some of the occupations that we've listed on the jobsnowhouston.org website. You'll see that there's a wide range, and more than likely, whatever position you're in, the skills that you have can be transferred into those type of positions. You'll just need a little extra training. We can upskill you throughout some of our training programs. So I'd check those out, number one. The second one is to reach out to somebody from HCC, either an advisor or one of our centers of excellence deans that can help put you in the right direction to get the training that you need. At the end of that, I mean, you'd be surprised how fast it happens. We've got career service representatives at the end of the line that can help folks find a job pretty easily as well.
I guess the good news is with all of this is there are jobs out there, because you hear how bleak the market looks. But I mean, realistically, we're saying in the Houston area, we could have lost 200 to 300,000 jobs, but you're saying right now, hey, we've got at least 200,000 available now. Do you see those forecasts growing as this economy maybe starts to recover in the next 6 to 18 months?
Yeah, so you figure I mentioned healthcare and petrochem; those are primary drivers of our market. So for every one job they create, you create indirect jobs 5. So 5 indirect jobs for the one direct job in those two sectors. And you can imagine as they ramp up these other indirect jobs. And indirect jobs, I mean, hospitality. Obviously, we're going to get back to doing business in the convention area and in our hotels and whatnot. Restaurants, retail, all of those are offshoots of those primary drivers. So yeah, I think you're going to see the market open up quite a bit. And for any of those, as well as we're watching those job postings, we'll list again the training opportunities that are associated with them on this Jobs Now Houston website.
Once again, the website name is jobsnowhouston.org. Make sure you check it out, especially if you or someone you know is looking for a job in the Houston area. We're offering a quick solution to get retrained, retooled, and out there back in the job force and gainfully working again. Dr. Michael Webster, thanks for joining us here in the program. We appreciate you being here today.
All right. Thank you, Todd. I appreciate it.
And thank you for joining me on the topic. I'm Todd Duplantis. As mentioned earlier, if you're watching us on HCC TV, make sure you jump on over to YouTube or watch us also on Facebook. You can also download all audio versions of our podcasts at hccs.edu/podcasts. For the topic for HCC TV, I'm Todd Duplantis. I'll see you next time.